Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Chad Poole, Water Resiliency Specialist for Bio and Ag Engineering at North Carolina State University. I primarily focus in ag irrigation and ag drainage for the state of North Carolina. Today we're going to be talking about field calibration of a hose drag unit for waste management. So in order to do the calibration, I want to refer you to extension publication AG 553-08 entitled Hose Drag Wastewater Equipment. It goes through everything needed in order to do a hose drag calibration in the field. So in order to do a proper hose drag calibration in the field, we need three fundamental things. We need to know the flow rate of the pump delivering the animal waste to the hose drag. We also need to know the operating pressure of the system. The primary purpose of that operating pressure is that once we have it calibrated based on the flow rate and the third factor, which is the forward speed of the tractor pulling the hose drag, at that point, from that point on, you can use the operating pressure to know where you need to be at in the field at all times when you're setting your pump. So now we want to talk about the first component that we need to do a proper calibration, and that's the flow rate of the pump that's sending effluent out to the hose drag system. In order to accomplish this, there's two different types of flow meters you can use. You can use one that gives us instantaneous flow rate, like the one we have in this video here. Essentially, you set that up that's downstream of the pump while the system is operating in the field, so the tractor is actually applying, and you read the instantaneous flow rate off of this meter, and that's the flow rate that you would use with this extension publication in the tables that's provided in this video. Another way of doing this is to have a totalizing flow meter, which does not give us instantaneous rate. It basically has a starting gallons that you would read off the meter, and then a final gallons that you would read off the meter after a specified period of time. So you need a stopwatch, you need to record the value when you start, you need to run the system for a preset amount of time, and then you need to record the final value, then divided by the time that the system ran, and that gives you the gallons per minute that the system is putting out at the specified pressure. The next step in the process for calibrating the hose drag system is to understand the exact forward speed of the piece of equipment using the unit. A lot of the new equipment actually has RTK or radar-based systems that gives us the true ground speed, but some of our older equipment do not have that. So we need to go through the process of actually calibrating for ground speed in the field. You would want to do this while the system is operating. You would also want to record the current transmission range that you're operating in while you're doing this. Essentially what you need to do is measure a predetermined distance off in the field by placing a flag at the beginning, maybe measuring 100 or 200 foot down the field and putting another flag, and then you want to start a timer or a stopwatch when the piece of equipment passes the first flag and then passes the second flag, and get the time that it took to travel that distance. The extension document has a table that you can fill out with this information, so you put in the travel distance, you put in the time to go that travel distance, and then you can calculate the miles per hour that unit is traveling at a specified transmission combination. So when you're doing the calibration for flow rate, you also need to record the operating pressure of the system. This is the indication that the system will always be performing at that flow rate by using the pressure indicator gauge that you did for the calibration. So somewhere near the pump, you should have a pressure gauge. When you're doing your flow meter calibration, you need to record the pressure. That way the user can always set the system up at the same exact pressure, so it is delivering at the flow rate specified in the calibration. So from the hose drag extension document, there's two ways that you can go about understanding the depth of application that you're putting out in the field. We give equations within the document, so if you know the forward speed that you're operating at and you know the flow rate that you're operating at, you also know the implement width or the hose drag width, you can easily take those calculations in this document and determine your application depth in the field itself. The second way is we have a set of tables, which is given in the video here, also available in the document based on the hose drag width, where you can use the calibrated gallons per minute, the width of the hose drag, to determine the application depth in the field based on your forward speed that you've also calibrated for. So as you're running through the calibration procedure in the field, if you utilize the extension document, figures 5 and 6 at the very end of the document gives you a quick and handy field worksheet where you can do the flow calibration and the speed calibration procedures, and easily fill that out and do the calibration so you can use the tables in this document.